Hello.
Hi, Quinton.
Morning.
Hey, it's 3 o'clock again in the night, yeah?
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Yeah. 3 o'clock in the
Okay.
morning.
In the morning. Oh, great. Great that you're here.
Oh, I'm fantastically here.
Okay.
So how was life with you? Exciting?
Yeah, I just came back from the vet. I had 2 of my kittens. I went with them to the vet. So I was working for 2 days before, 48 hours. So I'm in a rush, kind of wind up. I need to cool down after this meeting.
You need to
Because
breathe.
I've been working a lot and busy. So, but fine. Great springtime here.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to June. June is going to be summer. Way.
Yeah, lots of new leaves on the trees.
It's getting cold here. It's autumn here and it's getting cold and fresh and oh.
And then you do that every year that you go to Europe.
I'm lucky. I've been going to Thailand every year, and this year we're going to Amsterdam because our girlfriends are Dutch, so that's what we're doing.
Oh, okay.
So, looking forward to it.
From what part of Netherlands she is?
We're going to stay in Deventer. We're having her birthday Deventer. Is that correct?
Deventer. Yeah.
Deventer. Morning, Gabriel.
Hello.
Hey, Gabriel.
Hello, you all.
Hi.
Morning, Astrid. We're all here. Happy family.
Morning. Wow. Astrid.
Hi, Astrid.
Hi.
Good to see you.
You too.
How are you, Astrid?
Good question. It's just I'm good now. It's just been like up and down the last few days. So yeah, a little bit like I'm better now, better than yesterday.
It's nice we have a meeting now.
Yes, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. As not everybody now is there, I still need to do a very small thing. So I put my phone down and I'll be back in a minute. Yeah. Bye.
Sure. Hi, Marina. She's all like, right, it's right. Hawaii, morning, right.
Morning.
Look at this. Yeah, she has 9 a.m. at the moment.
Oh, lucky you, 9 a.m. How perfect is that?
You have middle of the night again, right?
Yeah, 3 a.m. in the morning. It's just a beautiful time of morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. But don't look so surprised.
Yeah, it's just Australian time. It's crazy for him.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's the same as German time.
Marina, you're still muted.
Crazy. Just crazy.
Marina, you're still muted.
Okay, there you go.
Ah, no, we can hear you.
Okay, I was talking to myself, I guess.
Yes, you kind of were.
That's funny. Yeah, no, it's good. Oh, Ashen she's going in.
Ashen is going in. And hello, Ruby. Hello, Chris.
Oh,
Hello, Angelica.
Ageya, Astrid, Gabriel.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
What's that tattoo, Marina? What's that tattoo? Right arm. Right arm. Right arm.
Power.
The other right. The right.
Oh, wow, it's a flower. Awesome. Lovely.
Oh, wait. Oops, that's the camera. That one. It's sacred geometry. It's the flower of life.
Oh, awesome. And on the right forearm, you have some Sanskrit, right? Did I see this right?
Om Mani Padme Hum. It's like a Tibetan mantra.
Yeah, I know that one. That is so cool.
Yeah, other really crazy. Yeah. Okay, I gotta fix her. Just woke up. Or a little bit ago. Prepare myself today.
Hey everybody, thank you for being patient with me. Awesome, everybody's here. Hi Gabriel. Awesome, was just checking who is here. Turning my cam on now. Hi everybody. So I'm gonna ask you guys if you can mute your mics and we're gonna get started. And then as always, we'll have time to talk. So, okay. All right, cool. So, hi everybody. It's really nice to see you guys, to work with you guys this week. Thank you so much for everybody's understanding about last week. I really it was just one of those days where I was like, I'm not in alignment with doing this. And I want to give you guys my best always. So I thought this would be best for everybody if I came when I was fully in alignment. And I am ready to rock today. So there we go. So everybody has joined this program for one reason or another, but we've all sort of come together and collaborated together based on one thing, and that is that we wanted to get deeper into our heart space. We wanted to heal. We wanted to face our shadows. We wanted to reach our dreams. We wanted to find the best life that is within all of us. And a lot of the time, you know, individuals might say, my best life is this relationship, or my best life is, you know, whatever it is for one person or another person. But the whole program that I've been teaching you guys is like, and you guys already knew this, but sometimes we need teachers, we need reminders, we need doorways to walk through, right? So I'm only ever a mirror image of what you guys have chosen to walk through on your own, right? So the program has really been about, hey, if you can align yourself, if you can align your mind, if you can align your heart, then you actually are achieving that happiness within you. If you can achieve that happiness within you, if you can reach alignment within you, if you can face your shadows, if you can get inside yourself, if you can show up for yourself and be real for yourself, then any life that you want to live is going to be amazing, and it's going to start from there by being amazing. And it's not that you have to do it all on your own, and it's not that you can't involve others like a teacher or like a group program, but it is to tell you that this is all about empowering you to live your best life, and that when we really take away all these desires that you want for your life, like, you know, I want to find my purpose, or I want to have my dream job, or I want to become a coach. When we take all of those desires away, what is left is the human desire to have connection, to be loved, to be cared about by people, to have love in our life, to have connection in our life. These are the basis human desires that are at the baseline of all of these external desires. And I don't care how much your mental mind tells you, no, I'm telling you, it's just the money. I don't want happiness. I don't want connection. It's just the money. There's no other reason there. I don't care what your mental mind is telling you. At the basis of every external desire is the desire to meet these basic human needs. So the first thing that I want to bring up with you guys today is, what are your desires? What are your external desires that you tell yourself, if I do this, I'll just be happier. If I have this, I'll just be happier. What are these things that you're promising yourself happiness with? Because we all do it. I do it too. You know, I start focusing on things in the external world, and I'm like, yes, if I could just have that, I would finally be happy. Or I would be happier, or I would feel freer, right? But that's just it. I'm never searching for the external circumstance. I'm searching to meet my basic human needs. So this is the first part of today's program, is I want you guys to really think about it. What are the external desires that you feel are missing in your life? And I want you to search. What would be the basic human need that this aspect of me that wants to be rich or wants a better relationship, what would this aspect of me really be looking to meet? What would I really want to be meeting? And once you find that basic human desire, you can go about by meeting that need right away. So even if you're like, I need the best perfect relationship to finally have the connection I'm desiring, like, no, like, relationships aren't that easy. And even if you feel companionship, you might not even get the connection you've been desired in that relationship unless you already feel you deserve that connection, unless you already acknowledge that you want that connection, and unless you're already giving it to yourself in some way, right? And again, this is not that you have to love yourself first. This is not you have to meet this connection for yourself first. You can always involve other people. You know, we're in this multidimensional universe on this physical planet with so many other mirrors and people that are all us, just in different shoes, right? So you can always involve a mirror of yourself to love you or to be that connection for you before you're ready yourself. But what I'm saying is this basic human need that you have for this external desire, if you begin to meet that first, not only is the external desire going to seem a lot less desperate, you're actually going to be meeting the basic need that that desire has in the first place. And not only will you be more of a match to getting that external desire met, you'll be able to understand yourself more. So let's give this a shot. I want you guys to write down what the basic human needs are that you have that maybe are being met or not being met fully. Write them down in the group chat. I want to hear some examples of not the external desire that you're covering up with. If you feel like sharing, that's fine. I just want to know the external, like the basic human needs that are behind these external desires. What are the basic human needs of your heart? What do you really want? What do you really want more than anything else? And this is a time to be brutally honest with yourself, even if you don't want to write it down for the group chat, right? Aw, I see Ageya's beautiful smiling face, and I have Astrid and Quentin on this side of the camera with me as well. Be safe, yes. Safety. Do you feel comfortable with sharing with us, Ageya? What are some of the reasons that you currently feel unsafe? or some of the things that you've noticed of why you feel unsafe. Only if you feel like sharing, sweetie, but we're going to touch on safety anyways. So I'll start with what Ageya has said. So Ageya has said that her basic human need that she's trying to meet is safety. So this safety is a basic human need, and guess what? Safety is directly related to our connection with the earth. This is a part of the heart space. Being connected to the earth, feeling supported by the earth, knowing the earth is always going to take care of you, that is a basic human need to feel safe, to feel protected, to feel taken care of, to feel like you're not going to be harmed in any way. So how can we meet a basic human need for safety? I'm going to talk to you guys about that now. And I'm going to go to what Marina said next. She's the next person who wrote down. So another basic human need. Yes. So I'm seeing a lot of people that are saying security and safety also. So we're going to start with safety, which is what Ageya said. So safety, how can we meet safety without any external circumstances really largely changing? Like, this is just a random example. It doesn't have to be about Ageya, but like maybe somebody is trying to meet safety with like, I need lots of money to back me up. And that's how I'm going to feel safe. Or it might be, I need that relationship to feel safe. Or it might be, I need that, like, you know, that house that I'm not paying rent on to feel safe, right? These are the external things that we might search for to make us feel safe. So here's something that anybody can do for themselves, no matter where they are in life, to feel safe without having the external world shift around them too much. This is something that you can do as a human being from your manifestation, from your point of creation, without anything in your external world really changing too much. So how I started meeting safety for myself, and this is an example of what I've done, but it's also an example of how to meet your basic human need from where you are. So I truly believe that anybody could do what I did to meet my need for safety. So the first thing I did to meet my need for safety is I turned to Mother Earth. I turned to walking in the forest. I turned to literally hugging freaking trees. I turned to staring at the sky. I turned to Mother Earth to make me feel safe, and everybody has access to Mother Earth. Even if you live in the city and all you have is the blue sky, guess what? That blue sky is above you, right? You still have that blue sky to stare at, to remind you you're on Earth, to remind you of, you know, the fact that you deserve to meet safety. And if we can truly understand that this is a law of attraction universe, when we decide to meet safety for ourselves, when we decide to ask Mother Earth to protect us, when we turn to her for protection, literally from that space, nothing can happen. I was someone who had severe anxiety, severe feelings of being unsafe for most of my life before I turned to the heart space and before I started doing these things. And what I really realized that changed my life around was like, okay, so this is a law of attraction universe. So if I ask Mother Earth to protect me because I'm scared, and if I tell her how much fear I have, and if I tell her that I just want to be safe, and I don't want anyone to hurt me, I don't want anyone to physically hurt my body, I don't want any bad thing to happen to me or my loved ones, if I ask her for that protection, and not just ask her for that protection, but truly know that she can grant that for me, truly really feel in my heart that she wants to grant that for me, that it's possible for her to grant that for me, and that she wouldn't have it any other way. As long as I ask her for this, she is there for me. She is waiting for me. She wants to embrace me with her arms. And that was one of the biggest changes that I've made in my life, is completely trusting and embracing Mother Earth's protection. And I do this in like a million different ways. So what are the ways that you feel closest to Mother Earth? Because being safe, the vibration of safety, and feeling connected to Mother Earth really do go hand in hand. So, I mean, there are other ways that you can meet safety, but usually it is always connected to Mother Earth. So for me, for example, safety could be drinking a warm cup of tea. Safety could be being wrapped up in my blanket. Safety could be being in a forest or being on a beach, being by an ocean. It could be the simple things like just affirming in my mind that I'm safe. It could be trusting the dark instead of fearing it. It could be, you know, it could be bringing my guides and angels in and having galactic protection as well. It could be trusting myself, right? Trust is huge for feeling safe because the chakras are all connected, right? So even though safety is found on the earth chakra, we jump up from the connection in the sacral chakra and jump up again to the solar plexus. The main thing in the solar plexus is trust. It's power, it's inner power, but a huge thing in the solar plexus is trust. Trusting yourself, trusting the universe. And trust makes us feel safe. Trust solidifies the Earth's feeling for safety. So this is how you can meet your basic need for safety without externally changing your circumstances. Find the simple ways that make you feel safe. What makes you feel taken care of? What makes you feel protected? What makes you feel less alone? Ask yourself, what does safety mean to me? And what makes me feel safe in particular? So we're going to move on to one of the other basic human needs that you guys have listed. Astrid, I would be really curious if you feel comfortable in sharing what is the cover external story for being cared for, listened to without judgment, held and taken close. So only if you feel like sharing. So we're going to talk about what Astrid has just said. So one of her basic human needs was to be listened to be cared for without judgment. So I've already asked her, like, what is the simple things that you have chosen externally to represent that for you? But let's talk about how to meet that basic human need, like from wherever you are in life, for, you know, no matter where you are in life. How you can meet that basic human need. So for me, I'm gonna have to think about this one for a second because this is a really interesting one. So, okay, so guys, right now we're working on being listened to, cared for without judgment. I want to hear, does anybody have any suggestions of how to meet those basic human needs from a place of not changing your external circumstances? The little things that you can have changed in your life without major shifts happening. So sometimes it is the little shifts that have to happen before we can really feel comfortable to make those big shifts. So what I would say, if being listened to is a priority, is you have to find someone who really wants to listen to you. And I don't doubt in my mind that there are people out there that really want to listen to you. It's just that you have this fear of not being listened to, right? So this is for everybody. Again, whenever I'm talking about these basic human needs, it's for everybody, even though one person may have said it or something. So for me, if I wanted to meet the basic... Okay. So Astrid was saying that she makes her body carry this need. So I will read the rest of your comments. So what I would do to meet the basic human need of being listened to is I would search for somebody who wants to listen to me. So in my example, the people that listen to me best are my best friend, sometimes my mom, sometimes my boyfriend. And if you feel like the people in your life don't actually currently care enough about what you have to say, like maybe you have a lot of relationships that it's more like they don't actually care what you have to say, it's just external things and, you know, socially acceptable things, or maybe they don't stop to listen to you enough. So if you do feel affected by those type of relationships and you don't currently have someone who is already willing to listen to you, you know, it's time to go to the watering hole, right? Whether it's somebody in, you know, at the grocery store in your area, at a club, online, wherever it is that you feel safest meeting people, I would literally go out there and be like, I'm going to find someone who wants to listen to me, you know, and I'm going to listen to them too. And I'm going to meet their need to finally have someone to listen to them and to feel acknowledged. And they're going to meet my need at the same time, you know. So go out and find someone who has the same need as you or who wants to meet that need for you, right? So we have to stop wasting our time with people who don't want to meet a need for us. Like, we have to understand that human desires are strong. So if you want something and someone's constantly telling you, no, you can't have that, you can't have that, you're just going to go after it even stronger, right? It's like trying to take a steak of meat away from a tiger. He's going to go after that steak of meat. It's just not going to happen. And it's the same thing with when someone doesn't want to meet something. So let's say our partner doesn't really want to listen to us, and we like constantly try to like tie them down to like listen to us every day, and they're trying to run away. It's the same thing as a positive desire. Having like not having desire for something is just as strong. So that person is going to get as far away from you as fucking possible because they don't want to meet that need for you, right? So we have to search for the people that do want to meet our needs, that it's genuinely a desire for them to meet our needs, that it feels good for them to meet our needs. So involving other people in our life and taking that chance to involve other people in our life who do really want to be there for us. So, okay, let's check out the other comments here. Yes, journaling can really help. If you need if you need someone to listen to you, to write it out. Okay. So Astrid says she makes her body carry it. She obsesses about everything with it. So she will be good enough for anyone to be able to be around me. That is one story I play out. Oh my God, sweetie, I totally understand. And you know what? I do that too. I totally do that too, where you're like, well, if I just be more interesting, or if I just like put everything into it, or, you know, if I just be more for them, they'll start listening to me, right? But and I do it too. I totally do it too. But it's not going to change anything, right? Because if we keep chasing people who didn't want to be there for us in the first place, they're just going to push further away. And that just solidifies the belief that we have within ourselves that we're acting through. So I personally believe that, like, you know, not being listened to can have a lot to do with self-worth, right? And standing in your own power. So if we have someone who's like, no, I don't want to listen to you, and you keep chasing them down, like, you're just further solidifying this belief within yourself that, like, oh, something's wrong with me, right? Which is totally bullshit. It's totally bullshit. So I advise you guys to look at more ways of, how do I meet my basic human needs? How can I do that on my own? How can I do that right here, right now? Yeah, so how do I do that right here, right now, without like physically changing my entire life, right? So that is the first part of our program today, and I'm going to move on to some other good content. So I want you guys to really reflect on this. If this is something that has touched your heart and you have felt taken by it, please continue to search for ways to meet these needs for yourselves. And no, so this whole point for me was showing you that you can meet these needs for yourself in simple ways that you already have access to, instead of chasing something that feels very far away for you, or instead of chasing something that is an external circumstance shift that is going to take maybe years or maybe all your effort. It doesn't have to take years, and it doesn't have to take all of your effort. But if you're searching for something outside of yourself that feels far away, you know, it's just going to get farther and farther away if you're not actually addressing the need that needs to be met in the first place. And it's never that you can't have that physical thing that you're looking for, but just if you meet the basic human need that is supporting that desire, you're going to be able to be a match to it a lot quicker. Okay, So we're gonna move on from here. I wanted to say something quickly about soul retrieval on self-use. I want to ask you guys if anybody's had their soul retrieval meeting, if anybody has had any thing that they want to say about it, and then we're going to jump into some core belief work. So, yeah, so has anybody done their partnering with the soul retrieval yet? I want to know in the comment section. So, soul retrieval. So there's a couple of things that when I was listing you guys out, this is how you do the whole process. There are a couple of things that I felt were more like, okay, awesome, Chris. Thank you for answering that. So, all right, thank you, Ageya. So there are a couple of things. Awesome. Ruby, not yet. Okay. So there are a couple of things that I felt were for more like an advanced soul retrieval use. So I didn't add them in there in our last session, but I feel like since you guys are doing the soul retrieval on each other, that it would be really important to mention this before you guys do too many more of the sessions. So we're gonna get a little bit deeper look into what soul retrieval is and how to do it. So one of the things that I feel like I didn't really make clear the last time is, okay, so once you start talking to your client or once you start expressing or thinking about things to yourself, if you're doing it for self-use, one of the things that I didn't mention from last time is you really want to identify the core themes that that person needs for healing. So for example, like you could have a core theme of like feeling not acknowledged, or you could have a core theme of like feeling like, you know, you're not able to express yourself. So an example from a client I had the other day, she was like, what was brought up in her soul retrieval session was basically like creative writing. Like she wanted to do writing and she felt like she never had that creative flow coming in like she used to when she sat down to write. So what she had blocking herself is all these beliefs on like, no one's gonna acknowledge me, and you know, I'm not good enough to be a writer, and like this competitive mindset. And some of the core painful things that came up from that was that her mother had told her, like, I don't really care about that you're a writer. Like, her mother was very religious, so it was basically like, I don't care that you're a writer. Like, you just need to like not do drugs, not drink, not like don't be a slut. These are the beliefs that she had going on. You know, cover up, marry some like nice religious boy, and that's it. So she had these deep traumatic feelings of not being acknowledged in her writing because of her mother. So these are the things that a soul retrieval are going to bring up. So even though the writing thing was completely unrelated to her, like her family issues, actually it was super related, because once we got past the facade of I want to be a writer, I'm not writing, like that. And that's the thing about soul retrieval is like this client, she wasn't able to go deep with me right away. Some people can't jump into their shadows right away. They can't immediately acknowledge that you know, that they have shadows. They can't be like, oh, I have all these problems going on in my life. Like, trust me, when I get onto a soul retrieval session, I jump into it. I'm like, look, I have this and this going on in my life. Like, this is to my shaman, and like we need to get like behind this like right away. But some people, they're not comfortable, so they'll tell you like a story about something that doesn't really matter, and you have to pick out the vibration that does actually matter. So you have to pick out the core themes that they are working with, that they maybe don't want to express to you, that maybe has some deeper trauma related to it, that they're not really able to just get out there. So once you identify the core themes, this is the next part that I didn't make super clear, is like, you don't, like, it's not just about validating the situation and giving presence to the situation. It totally completely is. But in soul retrieval, it's also about being there for them in a new way. So for example, in that soul retrieval session, I would come in and I talked to the client and I was like, oh yeah, like show me some of your writing. And like I acknowledged her writing and like just like listening to her the way that she wanted to be listened to. That was a need that she needed for her healing. So her theme was being unacknowledged. So what my job was to finally acknowledge her in the way that she wanted to. And sometimes that might bring you into things that you feel don't matter. So this is something big in soul retrieval. Like sometimes a client might be talking about other things in their life and you might have a strong urge to tell them like, oh, like you're off the soul retrieval, like this is wrong, this is not okay. That is just a trigger of your own, because honestly, anything that comes up for them, unless they're like literally trying to bypass the situation and you can tell, anything that comes up for them is absolutely valid. So telling yourself like, it's okay if they're talking about things that feel unrelated to me, because it's obviously related to them in some way or form, right? So just really double check yourself and say like, am I trying to like control the soul retrieval, or are they genuinely bypassing this whole thing? Another thing that you might be tempted to do in soul retrieval is allow them to validate the other person's side of things. So what some people with low self-worth like to do a lot is in soul retrieval, they might want to say like, oh, help me understand my mom's situation even though she beat me up when I was a kid. Like, no, red line. Like, it will very, very rarely be helpful in a soul retrieval to see someone else's perspective. Sometimes it is validating. Sometimes what that person's fragment really needs is to understand the person who hurt them so badly. But a lot of the time it's a bypass, because what you do when you start acknowledging the other person's reality is you're letting your client feel bad for the person that hurt them. And that takes away the validation of the actual soul retrieval session, right? So you're taking them out of validating their own pain and their own emotions in that. You're letting them bypass that, and it's okay to acknowledge someone else's perspective. I find it super, super helpful outside of a soul retrieval session, right? So that's not the focus of a soul retrieval session. It literally is all about them, all about their pain, and they need someone to listen, and they need someone to care. And all you have to do is just gently say like, you're not getting out of this one, sweetie. Like, I know that you want to know what's going on from your mom's perspective, but like, right now we're here for you, right? So we'll talk about that after the session. That's something that you constantly want to bring up. If they're asking you questions that are unrelated to their emotions, that are purely for them, like the energy of bypassing the situation, tell them that's fine, we'll talk about this after, but right now we're trying to be here with you and your emotions. So you just gently tell them that that's not what we're going to be talking about right now, and we'll address what you've asked me at the end of the session. So you don't want to further invalidate what they're saying, but you also don't want to let them leave their emotions behind, because that can be further damaging. That's actually your number one job in the soul retrieval session, is to make sure that they stay with their emotions for as long as possible, right? So what I was talking about just now is, how do you help them heal? So once you've identified the core themes that they need to work with, which is usually how you're going to take them into the memories that need to be worked with, you need to figure out how specifically that person needs to heal. So for instance, like when I had a soul retrieval done on me, my shaman, what she said to me one time, which was super helpful, was literally like, okay, I want you to feel me right now. I'm literally fucking hugging you in the astral, and I'm literally holding your heart like it's a newborn baby. And the fact that she said that it was like a newborn baby was different than just I'm holding your heart. Because to me, it was like she saw my innocence. She saw how much I needed her. She saw the child within me, right? So you want to really identify, how can I really get deep into this person's wounds with the desire to heal them, with a desire to help validate them, give presence to them. So it could happen in a million different ways. Maybe that child never got to play, or she was never allowed to play because her mother was always jealous of her having fun, or her mother was like, completely like just stressed out herself, so fun was not on the list. So that child might need to play a game. They might need to invite their friends over. And they might need to get permission to play. Maybe they need someone to closely watch them while they're playing. And if you have trouble identifying what needs healing in your client or in yourself, you want to ask the fragment that you're working with questions about what it is they need. So you involve them in figuring it out. So they will be quick to tell you what their needs are, and you have to think of how can I meet that in a unique way for them, right? It's really important that on top of the fact that you allow them to choose their own safe support figures, that you also make suggestions on who is going to come in. So even if they say my grandma is coming in, I might say, okay, your grandma's coming in and this archangel is coming in. The reason you want to add safe support figures for them is because, you know, it's that extra support. It's feeling like you really care. It's feeling like it's not just them and you, even that your care goes so far beyond like caring about them so fucking much that you're actually bringing in someone else to care for them as well. So it's good to involve yourself in that decision at the same time. Does anybody have any specific questions on slow retrieval? I'm just going to think about some things that I maybe want to mention to you guys while I ask for questions. Okay, Pia's writing something. Okay, Pia, you'll have to clarify what you mean. I'm not sure if you're typing more. Okay, are they really ready to integrate? Yes, so, yeah, you definitely want to, yes. So you definitely want to ask your client if they are ready to integrate or not. And sometimes the answer is no, and you just respect that. And it doesn't mean that you didn't do a good job if they're not ready to integrate. It just means that this is something they're going to have to come back to. This is something they have resistance to. So it's completely okay if they don't want to integrate. So sometimes in a slow retrieval session, the fragment that you're working with won't be straightforward a memory of them. Sometimes sometimes in a slow retrieval, it's not going to be straightforward, like this is me when I was a 5-year-old girl and I'm hurt. Like sometimes they're going to bring in an aspect of themselves that may feel fantasy or that may feel like unrelated to them, but it is related to them. Any fragment that they bring up is related to them. So for example, like let's say that someone says, okay, so for example, let's say that somebody says they're a worker bee. So they're seeing themselves as literally a fucking bumblebee working and bringing the honey and being like ushered around by the beekeepers and being kept in prison. So do you see how even though they're not a bumblebee, all these emotions that are related to their story as a bumblebee are still them? It's still a part of them. It's still an aspect of them. So that's okay. That's okay if something comes up that doesn't feel directly related to them, because it's all related to them. Just be careful depending on who you're working with. If it's always a fantasy character, then yes, it could be a form of bypass as well. But mostly you don't want to interrupt their own natural inclination to bring up any fragment. I would say 99% of the time, you're just going to let them bring up whatever aspect or fragment they do want to bring up, unless you're like, there's a red sign staring you in the face that is like, this is a bypass, like this is not them, this is not related to them, this is just like a fantasy to keep it away from the real session. I would say 99% of the time, no matter what aspect they bring up, they need to work on it. There's a very, very rare chance that somebody is going to bring up an aspect that that is completely unrelated to them. And I would say as you are all new to this, that you don't even pay attention to that 1% of the time. You just kind of acknowledge that whatever they need to bring up, they need to bring up. So Angelica says, what if you can't pinpoint the core issue or belief? So if you can't pinpoint it at first, just keep on going through the emotions, and you will be able to identify it eventually. If you really can't identify it after you give it a second shot, I would just take a step back. I would take a step back from the session altogether, because there's obviously something that has deep resistance for either you or the client if the core issue is not able to be identified. So another thing I want to bring up is when I first started doing soul retrieval, I had this young girl that I was working with. I mean, she was an adult, but she was quite young. And she kept on talking about all these things that to me seemed unimportant. To me, it seemed like she was sidetracking. To me, it seemed like she didn't want to get behind her pain. But what I've learned with practice and just like being observant of my own work in soul retrieval is that that's important for them. Go for it. Like, it's not a sidetrack if it's important to your client, right? As long as they're really not going too much off topic. Okay, so I'm going to open the door for some last questions on soul retrieval, and then we're going to get into core belief work. Okay. I honestly forget some of the people that wanted to do the core belief work with me. So correct me if I'm wrong. I know Gabriel asked me. Astrid, did you ask to do the core belief work or no? I'm not sure. I feel like you did, or wanted to do something, but I'm not sure what exactly at this time. So if you want to clarify that for me, if you wanted to do the core belief work or if it was something else. I also know that Christopher wanted to come on as well, and anybody can put in the comments if they feel in alignment with doing the core belief work. We're going to bring someone on for the core belief work as of now. So that's what we're doing. So if you're thinking about doing the core belief work, just be ready to put your heart on the line and get really vulnerable with the group. Okay. All right. I don't know why. I feel like you wanted to do something, but I couldn't remember what. Maybe it's just me. Okay. So we will bring Gabriel on because he wanted to do it. He's right here and he's ready. So do you feel comfortable with coming on first, Gabriel?
If someone else wants to go first, I actually would prefer that.
Sure, that's fine. I know that there's lots of people that want to go. We'll bring you on second or something like that if you're not quite ready.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have Chris. Are you ready to go? I can't see you, so I'm not sure if you want to be live or not. But if you do, giving you the option. We'll just wait a couple seconds, see if he responds or not. No response. Okay. Marina, do you want to go on for the core belief work? I think that you just said that you wouldn't mind.
Okay, I'll try.
Hi. I freaking love your tattoos, by the way. Sorry, I'm just seeing them for the first time. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Okay. So how are you doing today to start?
I'm doing pretty good. I actually had one session that was really good, and I had no idea where it would go, but it did like right through the hard stuff. Yeah. I feel like
Awesome. Did you have it facilitated on you, or did you do the facilitation?
it on. So yeah, we have a schedule like where I can get him the next time.
Awesome. So how was it for you to have that facilitation? Just anything that you want to mention, you don't have to.
It was did a really good job, like intuitive getting where I needed to go, and like it felt like I was really guided, but then it also kind of like now looking back, I was like, oh, I was kind of taking myself there, as who was really leading who, but it felt like I happened because at first talking about my relationships, and then of course it went back to very first, negative experience of intimate relationship. So yeah, it was big and deep and a lot of healing and integration. And I got like story in my head going through the experience. It was like a lot more validation and a lot more support. Like I wasn't alone anymore, kind of thing.
Awesome. Well, to validate you, I understand that sometimes it can feel like in a soul retrieval or anything, it can feel like you're doing it on your own. I know that it's not soul retrieval, but I had a CP session like that once where the practitioner was like literally letting me do my own thing. And I just felt like she wasn't getting very involved in validating the experience or really being there for me. So I kind of left the CP session feeling like, okay, I'm not going to work with her again. She's a wonderful person, obviously, but it was kind of like, I don't feel supported to work with that person again. So I totally validate that experience. And I also want to say that sometimes it can actually feel like you're doing a lot of the work on your own because this is all happening within you, right? So they're a guide that's taking you there. And absolutely you're right that there has to be guidance, there has to be validation, there has to be support because you're being so vulnerable with them, right? But you are actually taking yourself there. You quite literally are taking yourself there. They're supporting you energetically. They're being there for you energetically, but like they can't like rip into your body and take out an emotion and be like, oh, it's related to this memory, right? So you quite literally are taking yourself there. So I totally validate that experience of like feeling like it wasn't enough support or it wasn't enough validation, which can happen, especially when you're working with people who are doing it for the first time. Absolutely. This is why we're practicing, right? But I totally validate that, and I also just wanted to put that in there that like, yes, you quite literally are doing this on not that you're doing this on your own, but you're doing this from within you. This is a journey within you, right? So it's your emotions, it's your memories, it's your feelings that are coming up. So it can definitely feel like you're guiding yourself at the same time. Okay, so yeah.
It feels supported, validated.
Okay, so you did. Okay. Is there anything that you wanted to express about what you meant more? I might have got the wrong idea. I was just going with it.
Yeah, no, I supported and validated by him.
Awesome. Cool. So let's get into the core belief work together. Is there a specific area of your life that you know that you want to work on, that you know you want to get down with, down under into?
I guess more of like intimate relationships, getting like the love that I want, getting my needs met.
So I want to ask you right off the bat, we're definitely going to get into this more, but usually people have some sort of idea of what core beliefs are stopping them in their relationships or stopping them in whatever area of your life. What are some of the beliefs that you personally feel like are coming up for you?
Mm, maybe like commitment, and maybe because I have been like traumatized from like giving my whole self away, that like I feel like I don't want to do that. So like I'm kind of like this what I you know, like there's like, okay, I want this, but then there's obviously because of that go into that I was letting myself go. I wasn't like still strong in myself. So it's about finding that balance.
Sweetie, I really want to work with you. I'm just letting you know that you're cutting out quite a bit, so I'm feeling like if you want to give it to someone else, that might be in alignment, but I'm definitely not going to shut you off. I just feel like it might be complicated because there's a lot that you're saying that I'm not hearing. And I could easily invalidate you in that type of situation, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, if the connection.
Yeah, sweetie, I'm sorry. It's just like literally like every second word I can't hear you. So I don't know if it's just me or it could be my connection too, but I'm really getting that I can't hear you.
Okay. No, I understand.
Oh, it's doing it again. All right. Well, I'm sending you so much love, Marina, and I definitely want to work with you again soon, maybe when the connection is better, okay?
Okay. That sounds good. Sorry about.
No, it's fine. I just like I didn't want to like do the process wrong based on the fact that I can't really hear you, right? So I just felt like it wasn't going to go further than that at this point. But I totally want to work with you again on this, and yeah, and I'll message you and we'll figure out when we can do that, because I definitely don't want to take that away from you. We said we were going to work on it, so I'll message you and we'll figure out when we're going to work on this. Okay?
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay. So I know that Angelica wanted to work on some stuff. I don't know if she feels like doing the core belief work, or if there is anybody else that wants to do the core belief work. Okay. Is it my end that's cutting out, guys? Because I see some other people's screens cutting out. I want to make sure that it's not me that has the bad connection. Obviously, if I'm leading you guys through this. Ageya, would you like to come on? Thank you for letting me know that, Gabriel. Thank you, Ageya. Hi, sweetie.
Hi. Hi.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, today was still busy. I had 48 hours work. Then I'm inside a kind of tunnel in the house of the client, and the demand of all the time somebody to have in my presence and be focused on, yeah, and for 48 hours, and then 12 o'clock I came out and I had to do a lot of things in my house, and now I'm still a little bit wind up, but also feeling good and enjoying the spring here in Holland, and enjoying growing and feeling, yeah, feeling growing and unwinding. So basically, I feel good. Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks also
oh
to
wow,
the
that must have been
program.
a long shift.
Yes. 2 days, 2 nights. Yes. Yeah, it's
Oh
a long
wow.
shift. Yeah. It's okay.
Well,
A
then
lot of
I'm
crystals
glad.
in the house and obsidians, and it's an amazing place with very many stones and huge crystals, like meter or 80 centimeters, or it's a very special client I have. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that sounds awesome. Well, at least you have some crystal power to keep you energized, right?
Exactly. He has a beautiful female and a beautiful male crystal. I can talk for a lot about. Yes, yes, it's special. I will make some pictures sometime. Yeah, and they are like a male and a female a crystal. One is strong and coming out, and the other one is um, spacious and soft. Yeah, beautiful. So it's not only a very hard work. It's a nice place where I work. Yes.
So, sweetie, okay, so for the core belief work, do you know specifically an area in your life that you would like to work on?
I'm so amazed. I'm on for it. Thank you, everybody. um, the I don't know if I can express it rightly. I can feel cut off sometimes suddenly, like it goes good and it goes smooth, and then I realize I took off somewhere. I took off like a balloon. And suddenly I realized, hey, I'm not real anymore. I'm not connected anymore. Does it make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, it does. I definitely understand the emotions that you're expressing and the feelings that you're expressing there. So it makes perfect sense. Is there like, so it feels to me like this is something that you really notice a lot in your life. This is something that comes up a lot for you, right? What is a
It's even
main?
in.
Yeah. What were you
Sorry?
gonna say, sweetie?
Well, also with people, if I meet new people, in the first moments, it can be like, oh, I come across like a very sensible person. And then at one point, I feel I kind of disturb them. Oh, hard to tell this, but it's like all the valid goes suddenly away or something. And then I feel I'm popping or taking off like a balloon.
So, what is a major experience in your life that you feel is reoccurring where this happens? So, specifically, like a specific situation. I want you to tune into a
Oh,
specific situation.
a
And
specific
this will be,
situation. Yes.
yeah, and this will be our example for the core belief work. So, whatever it is, be prepared to work on
Okay.
it.
Well, I met somebody I used to work with in the past, and
Okay.
it's an older lady, a very beautiful lady. And I not knew she was still alive, and I was searching for her. And then I found through other people she was still there, and she had heard I was be looking for her. And then she phoned me, and I was so amazed because I first thought she was not here anymore alive. And then she phoned, so I was, wow, this is really beautiful. And she invited me to her home. And then we had a beautiful, still a kind of session, like a shaman session also. It was beautiful. And then she said she also wanted to visit me in the meeting in my place one time. And then now I don't hear anything anymore, I think, but it might still come. And I feel I kind of, maybe she first thought I was very valid for something, and now suddenly maybe I'm not.
Okay, so let's get deep into this because I totally understand that this has been something that's causing you a lot of pain in your life to feel like, okay, so everything's going good with this person and I feel their validation and I feel their love, and then it feels like, oh, okay, they just don't care anymore, or they just left me there, or you know, even if it was nothing that you did, it feels like they just, I'm getting almost a sense of like abandonment or feeling like left abandoned
Probably,
or
again, that must be a core belief, yes. And I don't want to say that these people really do that, but I experience it. Maybe she's ill, or
exactly.
maybe she is, yes.
Exactly. Oftentimes we associate meanings with people in our lives, and it's like, no, they don't feel that way at all. And who knows? Maybe she maybe there is something off with her, maybe there's not, but this is about the feelings within you and the pain that you're going through and the experiences that you're having, and helping you with that. So that's beautiful. You're already acknowledging that, like, hey, this is something going on with me. I can't even say for sure if this is real for her or if this is just something that's hurting me. And that's everything about core belief work, is acknowledging that it's within us, whether it's within them as well or not, it's within us first, right? Or otherwise we wouldn't be having this experience. So I just want to get a better idea of the feelings that we're working with before I go deeper. I also feel like there's an energy of feeling like used by people. Is that correct? Or not so
Yeah,
much?
could be like sweet is naive. And if you are like kind and nice, you know, if I feel all flowing and going at one point, oh God, I can think, oh, I was probably taking advantage of, and it's possible, probably.
I definitely feel that that's in there too. So we're going to narrow down one of the most important core beliefs here, but I just want to acknowledge that there might be some other ones that we don't work on in this session that are coming up here, that they're about the same experiences, but we're going to narrow into one major core belief to give you the best results of actually helping to heal it, right? So we're just going to focus on one for now. So the questions that I'm going to ask you are purely for the purpose of getting deeper into the core belief, okay? So I want you to just acknowledge that I understand what you're going through, and I understand that this is something that's painful for you, that this experience is valid, and I would feel completely hurt too if somebody was, you know, it seemed like they were into me, they were putting the energy in, and then they just disappeared or something like that, right? So I would feel completely 100% hurt in that situation too, and I just want to validate that before we go any further into this. Is that I understand why this would be causing you pain, and I understand that this is a painful experience for you, and I really do understand that, and I'm there for you in that. So the questions that I'm going to ask you are for the purpose of understanding the beliefs that might be involved in this process. So this idea that the person didn't message you back, or, you know, they said like, oh, I'm going to come over to your place. I'm going to come over to your place one time, and then they just disappear. I feel like bringing up an example of a similar situation I've heard of quickly, just for like some back support. We're going to get right back into your example quickly. I just wanted to say that I've heard this before, where a friend recently told me that she was working with like this spiritual teacher. She's actually pretty famous in the field, and she had approached my client and said like, hey, let's be friends and I'll do free Skype calls for you. And she supported her, and she opened up to her deepest, darkest shadows. And for some reason, she had invited her to literally live at her house together. Like, she was literally like, I'm going to pay for you to come and live with me. And then this spiritual teacher, quotation mark, because I don't really think it's very nice that she did this, but she literally just stopped talking to her for 8 months after that. So she built her trust with this person, and she said like, oh, hey, come over to my house. Like, I really care about you. And then she completely just disappeared. And she also had no time for validation. So when they did talk again, it was all about like, oh, I have this and this going on in my life, and like, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you any explanations. And I just feel like that type of situation is super fucking painful. And I know that it does happen to people, where somebody, you know, puts it out there. They're like, oh, let's be friends, and like, I want to go over to your place and have a coffee, but it's for ulterior motives, or, you know, they're using you to have someone in their life, and then when they feel like they have enough people in their life, they feel supported, they feel like, I don't need you anymore, they just disappear. So I wanted to validate that does happen sometimes, where somebody does have an ulterior motive, and they are being mean to people, and like, they do just disrespect them in that way. I mean,
Yeah,
like, personally, yeah, what were you gonna say, sweet?
This lady, she's 78 now, and she might be starting to get a kind of I was also feeling this, that she might get a kind of forgetfulness. Do you understand? Yes,
Oh yeah.
yes, it
Oh yeah.
might be, it might be. She's a really beautiful lady, yes, but it still hurts. I don't know. I don't know what to do now also. But in other ways, these things happened. Like people really come out and like
So do you?
like for example, yeah,
No,
yeah.
go for it. Go for
I
it.
at one point I was going. I well, it's quite private, but it was in the times of the commune, and I was just entering the commune, and then there was a guy really interested in me, and it was kind of loose. Many things were loose, but I said, well, if I'm going to be with you, at least I need for me a 3 months time to kind of be with you, you know. And then
Oh yeah.
it was kind of said and promised, but of course it was just to get somewhere, and then it
Oh yeah.
was that is something, yeah. Okay.
So
But a lot of
I
people,
suppose.
yeah, and then we spoke about it, and we were for a few weeks maybe getting there, but then once, yeah, but of course things can change, yeah, of course. But
So
this happened to me once
do you feel like
or
this
twice.
new memory that's come up is more potent? Because like as you were saying the new memory, I was literally just
Maybe
gonna tell
because
you. I was literally just gonna tell
yeah,
you that the one with this friend that you have might not be the best one to work on with, because there's this like there's this belief that you also have that's like she might have literally forgotten. So I feel like maybe there could be a better example to get under this
okay,
situation with. Even though the feelings are still there with your friend, I feel like another example might be better for us to work with. So do you want to work
okay.
on this one that you've just brought up, or is there another memory that you would like to work on that has the same energetic feeling underneath?
Do you have a feeling there is another memory that I could look for? Or
Oh, I know there is. This is a deep feeling. This is a deep belief that has been with you, and so I know that there's lots of examples that we could use, and I want to know what feels best to Ageya. What feels best to Ageya to work with?
oh, I feel now a little bit of pressure to look very deep, and that I cannot find it.
You don't
Maybe.
you don't you don't have to. You can look, and if it comes up, it comes
Yeah.
up, and if not, we'll work with what you've already said. You've already given examples that are perfect, right? So if something comes up for you, that's fine. If not, we'll work with what we have already, okay? So there's no pressure. Nobody is telling you to go deeper than you want to go, right?
Mm.
We're here supporting you exactly as you feel that you're ready to go, okay?
Okay, so I should not force my or think I should either,
Yeah, no,
like
don't
everybody
force
else. Yeah.
yourself. In these situations, it always comes naturally. So when we
Yes.
force ourselves, we're actually bringing up something that might not be ready to be worked on. Let it come naturally, let
Yeah.
it come
If
naturally to
I
the
would
point where
go
it feels like yes.
as deep as I could, I would think of coming here with a certain promise, and then it was all different. So let's say that's very deep then.
Okay. Do you have a specific situation where this happened so we can get to the core belief behind it? Or it's just a feeling? It's just a feeling.
Um, 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 the feeling, the core belief is I'm not deep enough connected to myself to see what's really going on. Is that a good?
Okay, that's definitely a core belief. You wouldn't have said it otherwise. I wanna like I want to dig it up together, if that makes sense. So this is completely a valid belief that you have, but I want to find a belief that we can dig up together. So is there a memory that's attached to that belief, or do you want to work with one of the memories you've already given me? I just want to know a situation where this happened so that I can dig up the core belief with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the thing I gave already about this boyfriend or this friend is maybe
Let's go
good
into it. Let's go into it if you
because
feel comfortable.
okay, because I'm not I took myself away from any participating in any play with male female for 8 years now. So maybe then I need to look into because it was a conscious decision for look. I always think it's something else than what it is.
Let's go into that. Let's go into the broad perspective that you've literally just given me. Do you feel comfortable going into that? Is this okay
Well,
if we continue?
I don't know where I'm letting myself getting into, but yes.
Okay, just know that I completely respect your boundaries. Stop me at any point, okay?
Okay.
So this broader perspective where you said that, you know, I've come up with this feeling a lot where it feels like, you know, I don't know what their true intentions are. This is what I'm intuitively getting from you, where it's like, I don't know what their true intentions are. It never works out that they actually have my best interest at heart. They always want something else from me. So I feel all these core beliefs that are
It
maybe
sounds
very...
very nagging and complaining.
What?
But yes, maybe it is. Yeah, it is, but it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we all have
Negative.
those subconscious thoughts, right? I mean, that's obviously not how your mind sounds. Like, there's obviously so much more to Ageya than just that. But this is a thought stream I was picking up on, right? So we all have those thoughts. Like I have those subconscious beliefs that might sound like that too. I have
Yeah,
beliefs
I
that might
feel you
sound like
both
it's just
have
nagging.
Yeah.
We all have them. We all have them. Believe me, I've done so much core belief work, and everybody I do core belief work has these thought processes. So even if it
I
does
start
sound nagging, we all
feeling
have
warm
it.
now, and so I feel you met something because I feel very warm now. Yeah, and I see your face very also different. It's nice, yes. So I think you touched something, yes.
Yes, absolutely. So
I don't
let's
know
go
what. Yes.
So let's go deeper into this. Okay, so again, this is simply for the purpose of getting this core belief. And I just want to say before we go any deeper with Ageya, do you see how I'm taking the time to get to know how she's feeling? I'm taking the time to really see what's going on with her. Core belief work is not something that you just jump into and you're like, this is your belief, let's work on it. Like, no, I am very, very carefully and intuitively going into what Ageya needs to work on. So this is how I always get the best results, is by really truly caring. It's not something that you want instant results for. It's something that you're truly digging into and finding out more about, right? So think of yourself as a detective if you're doing core belief work. A heart space detective though. Okay. So again, I'm going to ask you a question that is purely for the point of picking up this core belief, and it has nothing to do with not caring about what you've been through. Okay, so I just want to say that. So why is it so bad for you to have more relationships in your life? So the way I understood it is you kind of cut yourself off from getting into relationships at one point. What was the meaning that you associated with why you needed to stop having relationships, if you're comfortable sharing?
Yeah, I went into them in such a way, like maybe what Marina said, giving too much, or I would lose my job. I would have to finish study. I would, you know, when there, I would look for, I would maybe look not for the most supporting relationship. I would look for the relationships where, yeah, where maybe I was more supporting. I don't know. but I was ending up as a nervous wreck almost. And it's true, when I decided I'm now stopping it till I know what is going on, then my work went, I focused on my work and I earned the money and I saved and I bought a house and I was living my life, and that's what I'm doing now. But it's way from relationships. And I feel almost like I don't want to dip my toe in it, almost like I think maybe it's too far gone now also. But
so
if I could change the belief, then I could play maybe again.
Yes. So this belief that is stopping you, it served you for a time period because it was like relationships were taking you off course, right? So this belief served you. But I feel like this is something that maybe is no longer serving you to continue to believe. Whether you're going to jump into a new relationship or not is not the question. But if we can get behind this belief, at least you can have clear eyes and maybe be less fearful of that new relationship, right? So what I get from you, and please tell me if I'm off base and all, but what I was getting from you is basically like I was always giving too much. I was always sacrificing myself in the relationship. I was always the one that was putting more into it and getting hurt in the end. Does this feel correct to you? Is this what you were saying? Or?
I would choose the people that probably energetically fit with how my father was. I would choose the silent alcoholic, which I didn't know he was. I was for 4 years with him and I didn't know it. And I knew it only a few years after, when sometime I met him again, and it came to like this kind of situations happened to me. And I was drawn to his kind of broadness of the energy and feeling, oh, this person has such a big heart. He's so open. But he was open because of the intoxication, and I not realized it, and that's where I felt I have a handicap. I cannot really search that was the last relationship, and it has hurt me. It has kind of, even after, when I knew that he all the time was silently very much drinking, and I never noticed anything. It's strange, isn't it? Yeah. But that is what happened to me.
I just want to personally validate that. Yeah. Sorry, what were you saying?
Well, then I felt I actually went to a corner of the street in the middle of a crossing, and I went to shout and scream and really make like now I will only go for what is supporting. And that happened, and at home I went to sing and do, and when that ended, the relationship, and from there on I went, but now it's maybe time to set it free, because it was also me attracting the things, and so I want to work on it to
Oh yes, and that happens. I feel like everybody has that to different varying degrees, where we're attracted to people that carry negative things from our parent relationships, where they're hurting us in the same way. You know, I've heard his teacher literally say that it's like you get this home feeling from them, and then they end up feeling like home in the negative ways as well as the positive.
How can something so good be so wrong? Because you feel exactly at home and comforted.
Oh yeah.
And then it is not the right thing, and that's really I gave up on it. My core belief is I gave up. I can get out of that prison that I got from my parents, of that loving a person is is too much poisoned by the experiences of what I saw from my parents. I saw a lot of violence from my parents also. A lot of, I just, oh God,
Sorry,
it's
sweetie.
too much to go there.
So,
Oh,
if you don't mind,
really too much.
so I'm gonna go with something that you've just said, and I'm really, really sorry for these things that you've expressed. I understand that there's a lot of pain there with the way that your parents treated each other and you, and I can see it's really
still,
affecting you.
it's still very painful. Or
Oh yeah,
moving
absolutely.
me.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to go there actually.
No, we're not gonna go there.
Yeah.
We're not gonna go there.
Well,
I
it's
just
not.
wanted to
It's
validate
okay. Yeah,
it for
but
you.
yes, I know it's just hard for me to go there because I become that small child again. So I'm protecting the child now.
You have that inner child within you always. You do have that inner child within you, right? So one thing that you said that I want us to use as our trail for the core belief, you had said that I gave up on it, that I didn't want to go there because it was too scary, too bad. What would be, like, I want you to give me, what is the meaning that you associate, like, if you could say it in one sentence, what is, like, the meaning that you associate with it being too scary to go there again? What is so bad about putting yourself out there to try to meet someone else? What is really scary about that for you?
Yeah. Well, the steps I take, I would like the steps that I take together with that other person will lead me to a sustainable relationship. And inside, I feel I'm programmed for taking the steps to kind of break it down.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really understand so much clearly what was just said there. So, if you could try to put it in a sentence that might be better for me to understand, if you don't mind.
I come to believe that actually I might be destructive even myself to in a relationship, that if I go with the relationship, that instead of building it up to a sustainable, steady, healthy relationship, that my fear is that I'm programmed to, start off in a way and having a dream and an intention, but in the going, not only the other person, but probably also inside me, there is something that is going in another direction than that I wanted to go. I
So
probably think of failing.
So I feel like I'm trying to put this into a sentence that I can work with. So tell me if I'm on base or off base here. But I feel like the emotion or the mental belief that has come up here is basically like, I always put myself out there and I always have a dream that I'm going for, and it always seems to be that is actually a traumatic event or a shadow that comes up underneath it. So it feels like my dreams are always let down when I go for this. Does that feel kind of like what you were saying? Does it feel off to you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is right what you are saying. Yes.
So I want to ask you again, why would it be so bad? What is the meaning that you associate with giving a chance to your dreams again? What would be so bad about putting more energy into your dreams? What is so scary about putting yourself out there again? And I mean, we basically already said.
I think I will just, at one point, I feel I will just get so angry also. And so I feel now almost like I would, is that, I suddenly feel really, I just don't want that anymore. I feel very energetically that I would get very angry if that would happen again, or something, that I would explode from anger or something.
I
Or
feel
maybe I get more power now that I
so
don't want it to go that way.
yes, yes. So
And I feel the feet. Mm.
So
Feet on
one
the.
thing that's coming up for me is like the anger that you have towards this whole thing is keeping you in your power, right? That's one thing that's coming up. I feel like the next level that we've got into here, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, but intuitively I feel like the base that we've hit at is basically like every time I go for my dreams, I'm let down. Does that feel right to you? Like every time I go for something, it lets me down in the end. People let me down, relationships let me down, and so I'm just tired of it. They always let me down, so I'm going to isolate myself because people can't let me down if I don't give them the ability to let me down, right?
Exactly. Something like that, yes.
So that is literally the core belief that I want to work with here today, because it is something that has been ingrained in you with so much proof. All these relationships that have let you down, your parents maybe that they let you down at some point, the people in your life have let you down in these different ways, and so you're like, I'm not even putting myself out there anymore. I'm just angry. I am pissed off. This is keeping me in my power because every time I give somebody the opportunity to show me they're different, they just prove me wrong, right?
I think so. I'm not proud of it, but yes.
It's okay,
Yes.
sweetie. We all have shadows. We all have shadows. You are so brave for coming up here. You are so brave for opening up in this way. And I see a lot of people just nodding, acknowledging how brave you are right now. And if anybody wants to say any words of support in the comment section to Ageya, I open you to do so now. I feel like she needs some support and love from you guys. So I want us to really be there for you, but I also want us to disprove this belief, because I feel like whether or not you're ready to get into another relationship, that it's not serving you to feel like people are always going to let you down, right? Because that's what you're going to attract. And I totally understand that you've struggled with this. I've struggled with this in my life. Yes, we have Gabriel saying it's okay to feel this way. That's exactly what you need to hear right now, sweetie. It's okay that you've experienced this. It's okay that this is going on within you, right?
Yeah, it's very focused now, yes.
You have so many positive aspects. So, sweetie, I just want to say you have so much positive aspects, so much light, so much beautiful energy. You know, your love for animals, your love for your cats, your love is beautiful. So I just want to say that this shadow does not have to define you, okay? I feel like you're upset. I feel like part of the resistance there was like you don't want people to see you just defined by this shadow. So I want to acknowledge that part of you right now and say, no, there's so much more to you than this shadow. And we all have our shadows, right? So we're helping you work through the shadows so that you can blossom like a flower and not be weighed down by it, because you are already so beautiful in a multitude of ways, okay? So this core belief that we've dug up is basically every time I go for my dreams or every time I put trust in someone, they always let me down. So how do we disprove that? And I also want to call on the group to help me with the disproval of that. So in the comment sections, how can we disprove this idea that people are always going to let you down if you put your heart out there? And also, do you have anything you want to say on that, sweetie? So how can you disprove this belief that we've dug up? How can you choose to look at this a different way?
You asking me now, yes?
Yes, I'm asking you. Is there anything that you feel you can personally disprove this core belief with?
Yeah, jump in the deep again when there is a good moment, maybe, and when I don't take myself that serious.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, probably a moment will come someday. That's what I think, that it will not have the lead anymore. and then I dare to even make maybe a mistake again, or yeah.
So that's exactly what I feel like we need to bring into this. So one of the major things that is affecting this core belief for you, on an intuitive level, is not being able to trust yourself, because it's like I've made so many decisions on people that have proved me wrong. So it's not even that you can't trust other people. It's like literally like this inherent fear that you can't trust yourself to pick the right people, right?
That's true.
So one major thing that you can do to continue working on this is try to back yourself up with proof that you can trust yourself. What are all the experiences in your life that has proved to you know what's best for you? What are all the experiences in your life that have taught you that you are smart, that you are wise, that you are intuitive, and that you can make the right decisions? Like, it can be small things like I chose this cat, and she's everything to me. She's family to me, right? Because I know your cats make you so happy, right? Those are decisions that you made. You made the decision to take your cats into your home, right? So what are the positive things that you have done for yourself throughout your life that have proven to you that yes, I can trust myself? So that is something that I want you to really reflect on when we get off here, if you feel like it. So what are all the ways that you can trust yourself? Actually, I want to ask you that question now. What are all the ways that you have proven to yourself that you can trust yourself?
Yeah, I came a long way to where I am now, even though it's not with the relationship, but still, the way I can relate to people, I can also relate in my own way with people. I can, and that is how I can do my work. And that is also how I can relate with the cats and with the trees and with the stars. And it brought me also this not being with people so much brought me also in a connection with all the other things that I would lose if I would be with all things troubled in relationships and stuff, if it would not be going smooth. So it was even a good decision to do that. And I feel also I am in a lot of ways connected with existence. and I made good decisions, like when I chose to buy a house. And that's somehow, it's amazing because I have a small job, and that it all worked, and how I did that, and how I was going to the right people, and the banks also. I just did that to talk with them and have the approvals and everything, and it is really quite amazing. And I don't know if I really talk now deep down, because I think really I can have deeper relations with people. It's with people that I need to have more relationships with. Yes.
So I would like to help you disprove this belief and open your mind to see other possibilities. Is that okay with you?
Okay, please.
Okay, so another way I would look at this so that you can open up the belief and it doesn't feel so isolated, it doesn't feel so alone, is I would look at it as, yes, people have hurt me in the past. I've made decisions to trust someone who maybe it didn't turn out right, but that was my experience. It taught me something. I had those memories with them, and it's okay to be hurt by the experience, to be upset by it, to be angry by it, but it doesn't mean that I made the wrong decision just because there's something within them that has hurt me. It doesn't mean that it was my internal guidance system, that was off. The people have relationships that don't work out all the time. People have people that hurt them all the time. There was reasons that you intuitively were led to the relationships that you were led to, and I totally honor that it has hurt you, that they have hurt you, and that's hurtful and it's painful and it sucks, but it doesn't mean that it's because of you. It doesn't mean that it's because you didn't know what you were getting yourself into. It doesn't mean that you read people wrong. You know, sometimes the people that are the most sociopathic and manipulative, they can also be the ones that at first, like, some people can read that right away, right? But sometimes they are the ones that put on the biggest show. Like for instance, there's this core belief that I've heard that is like, oh, the quiet ones are always, you know, they're always the ones conniving on the inside. And it doesn't have to be true exactly like that, but I definitely believe in myself that, like, yeah, sometimes the people that are really harsh or really mean, just as you said, this guy, he was an alcoholic and you didn't even know he was an alcoholic, right? And so, like, he was putting on this whole show for you to keep his self-concept in line, but but he wasn't that person that he tried to be. So it's not all about you. I mean, so you could look at it this way: even if people have purposely deceived me, it doesn't mean I can't trust myself. It doesn't mean that in future decisions I can't make the right ones to be with people or to see people in my life. I feel like another way you could open this up is you could say, like, even if I am scared to meet people, even if I'm scared to let people in, even if I had made this decision, see, this is one of the things I feel like is blocking you. You made this decision 8 years ago and it really worked out for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have so much proof behind, like, oh, it's been less painful since I stopped relationships. People don't hurt me anymore. So you have all this proof that, like, see, this was the right decision to not let people in because it's changed me in so many positive ways. But you can look at it, and even though it has helped me in the past to not let people in and to focus on me, it is okay to trust myself that if the right person comes in, I can jump. I can decide to trust them. I can decide to give them a chance. The people in my past don't have to represent the people in my future, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just warning you guys. I'm just warning you guys. Yeah, sorry.
Changing, yes. So
I'm just warning you guys, I'm still here. Just my device was gonna die, so keeping the video off helps it from dying. Yay! So I'm right.
Can you plug it in somewhere now?
Yeah, that's the problem, is I can't plug it in, but I'm right here and I'll turn the video back on soon, okay? And I also just want to finish this off.
Yes.
So where we have come from right now is basically, like, I can make the right decisions to open up and let people back in my life. I can make those decisions. I can trust myself. And again, as I said, I want you to make a list of reasons that you can trust yourself. I want you to find emotional proof that you can trust yourself. I want you to think of all the decisions in your life that has proven to, yes, I can trust myself. I am worthy of trusting myself. So that's some of the backup that I want you to put into this.
Okay,
so
thank you.
So I want to go deeper here, and I want to say that another way of looking at this could be, like, when the right person comes along, I will know. When the right person comes along, it is okay to let them in. Just by saying this, you are opening up the possibility of someone coming in. This core belief that this core belief that we've dug up here is literally, like, every time I allow someone into my life, they let me down. So that's the core belief that we're basically working with here. And so a way to open it up is, I will know when the right person comes into my life. I will know when I'm ready. I will know when someone has something to teach me. I will know when someone has an experience for me. So you're opening it up just a bit more and saying, like, I don't have to jump into experience. I'm not forced to jump into an experience, but if the right one comes along, I acknowledge that it might be time for me to get back in it. Like, there's another core belief that you have going on here that is basically, like, you know, I've been out of the game for so long that it's never going to happen for me again. And I know that you don't truly believe that on all levels of your being, but you've literally said it to me as we've been talking here. You've literally said that to me as like, I don't know if it's ever going to happen again. I don't think it's ever going to happen again for me. You know, I've shut love out for so long. I just can't see that happening at this point in my life. I can't see it even fitting with who I am today, right? So even if you don't feel that on all levels of your being, that is definitely a core belief that you also have going on here, that like, oh, because I've shut myself off from love for 8 years, that like that's, you know, that's going to be the story of my life from now on, right? And it doesn't have to be that way. You could tell yourself a different story. So for example, telling yourself a different story in this situation could be like, okay, I've shut myself off from love for so long to protect myself. I acknowledge that that's what I needed at that time period. I acknowledge that that's what I needed for myself within that time period. But now I'm coming to the realization that when I'm ready, when someone else is ready, that yes, maybe it will be time to let them back in. So you're acknowledging that like, yes, this is where I was, this is where I needed to be. But if somebody does want to come in to shift things for me again, I accept that it might be time to let them, right? So I accept that it doesn't have to be so black and white. I accept that maybe someone is going to come into my life. I accept that maybe there is, you know, and this could be a friendship too, right? Because that's the thing, is when you shut yourself off from like, I'm not going to date anybody else, it also kind of goes into our level of friendships. I find people who are really who have really isolated themselves from romantic relationships, it also like it bleeds into all of the relationships. Do you sort of understand what I'm saying? Do you honor that, or like does that fit for you kind of?
Yeah. It was more into the work and yes, and the cats and the plants and the sky and everything. Yes.
So
and
I
can be a grown up. I can be a full, mature, wise, a grown up woman in a relationship. I don't need to be a child that is still looking for whatever, but I can be a mature, what a woman is supposed to be. That is also another part that I thought, I probably still am always this child that is still looking for or for things, and that I like also to I will make the list that I'm open to be a mature woman, or do I now be a kind of harsh to myself when I say that? I can be whatever I am, probably. Well, what I am is good enough. That's
yes. So from everything we've talked about, so sweetie, from everything that we've talked about, this core belief that we've brought up that was basically like, you know, I can't let people in because they just hurt me, and you know, they always let me down. We have done, I feel like we've done a very good job at opening this up for you to see things a different way.
Very good.
What is a mantra you want to have for yourself that is the opposite of what you've said there? Not the opposite of it. What is an open way of looking at this situation in your life after we have disproved this core belief? So basically, what is a belief that feels better to believe now that we've disproved that? What do you feel like is a more open way of seeing it?
Relationships will give me it's hard to get anything out now. So my core belief was that they will lead me nothing, and I will just better stay. Relationships will enrich me, make me experience myself in a deeper way, in a mysterious way, in I will meet a side of me as a woman I've never dreamed of, it will be very good. Something like that. Yes.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So your job is to put more support behind this idea now that you've said it. So is it okay if I put some supportive things behind this idea?
Yes, it's very welcome. It's very good.
So
Yes.
I love what you were saying about experiencing yourself in a different way through others. So I feel like, yes, like you can let people in and you can let them mirror you. And, yes, there's a possibility that some people may let you down, but there's also a possibility that some people could change your life, that some people could give you love, that they could do magical things for your life, that you could see your own beauty mirrored through them. So opening it up and saying, like, yes, like, some people have let me down in my life, but that doesn't have to be the only story. That doesn't have to be the only story. Like, it might be the most painful story. It might be the story that I've told myself for many years, but it doesn't have to be the end of the story, right?
No.
So what are some experiences that back that belief up for you of basically like people can do really magical things in my life? People have, made a positive impact in my life. What's a couple of examples of proving that to you? What's a couple of examples where people have
Well,
made a
this
positive
lady
change?
I went to visit lately and is now so old that she's maybe not talking everything in. She's still beautiful, but yeah, that lady has been really important to me when I was 20 years younger, and that was a really good meeting. And yes, I also had other good meetings with people, and
So
um,
so
another, yeah, I
so
can
let me know.
immediately find another. I think having my daughter and having her grow up and seeing her growing up and has been also
Yes,
good. Yes,
yes,
yes, my beautiful
beautiful.
child. Yes, and now the grandchildren also. It's very,
Yay, yes. So
yeah.
that is so beautiful. So we have kind of gone through this whole process with you. So there's two ends to this that I want you to solidify more on your own now that we're coming an end to working on this together. So one side um is giving yourself proof that you can trust yourself, and then one side is solidifying within yourself that yes, you can have positive experiences in relationships and friendships. So this is the other side that I feel would be positive to bring into this mindset shift. So what we've done here is really like, I have this experience, I have this belief, and I want to disprove that as the only truth, because this is obviously holding, such control over my life. I want to disprove that, and I want to ask for a way to see things differently. That's what core belief work is ultimately, is I have this belief, I have these experiences, but they're not serving me anymore as it is. So I want to shift, I want to ask to see things differently. So I feel like that's what we have done here today. And I know that you are so capable of solidifying that and going deeper into that for wherever you are ready to in your life. And we also have opportunities to work together more, because you still have those one-on-ones with me. So if you want to work deeper on this with me one-on-one, we can do that. Just let me know when you want to schedule those in. I want to thank you so much for coming on today, Ageya, for being brave, for being the lead on this session together. I feel like, every time that we're in a group together and one of you guys comes on as the example, just know that your story here today, Ageya, has helped so many other people. Immediately when you started talking, I saw comments saying like, yeah, I've been there, I feel the same. So just know that you coming on here today was in such perfect alignment with the entire group, and that every time that one of you steps to the surface to be the example, to be the one that I'm working with, everybody else is going to benefit from it because we are all a vibrational match to each other, right? So you wouldn't even have been a vibrational match to coming on if you weren't here to help so many other people. So I also just want to tell you that that you have played a huge part in our session here today, and that I know that a lot of people have gotten a lot from what you have said, and you've helped people in their life by being brave enough to share your life. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Oh, amazing. I didn't know that was going to come on. It's amazing. Thank you for the opportunity, everybody. And you, Ashen.
Thank you, sweetie. So, okay. So my little example that we started off today's group program with, so I'm just gonna finish off the program today at this point. So I do want to cut things off as of now, but I just have a couple things to say to you guys in ending this session. So some things that I wanted to bring up very briefly is this example about meeting your needs that I brought up at the beginning of the session. It's something that happened just intuitively. Usually I am intuitively led to talk about a certain things with you guys. So that kind of came up and stole our time from doing more core belief work with people. So Sunday's session, I'm gonna bring either 3 or 4 people on, probably more so 3 people on. So I want you to message me privately if you feel really in alignment with doing this, because I feel like some people will say like, yeah, I'm okay with doing it, but they're not really super into it, or they're not really super into the experience. So I want you guys to privately message me if you're like, yes, I want to do journey work. So these are your options, either journey work or core belief work. I want you to privately message me if you want to be an example on Sunday's session. That's what we're going to be doing, is journey work and core belief work. We'll see how things go. I just wanted this to be a nice little like in between catch up session for missing last Sundays. So I am going to cut this off now, but I will see you guys this Sunday. We are going to work together again. We're going to dive into some super deep stuff. And you guys can unmute yourselves if anybody wants to say goodbye to the group as of now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Quentin.
Bye-bye.
Is there anyone else who wants to unmute, say goodbye, or say
Goodbye.
anything?
Thanks everyone for being here.
Bye-bye, Gabriel.
Bye, Gabriel. And by the way, Gabriel, I super honor that you said, like, I could do it, but, like, let's let someone else go. I really honor that, because I loved that you unmuted yourself to say that to me, because I feel it's super brave to be like, yeah, I could go, but I don't really want to right now. Like, and we'll definitely get to you in Sunday's session, if you feel in alignment with it.
Yes, very much.
Yay. All right, guys, so if no one else wants to say anything or shut off, I'm going to say goodbye to you all, and I honor you all. And also, another thing that you guys can message me about in the next couple of days before Sunday, is there anything that we haven't covered in the Heart Space program that you're like, I wanted this to be covered more, or like this is something that attracted me to the program and I feel it wasn't covered enough? If there is anything at this point that you feel wasn't covered enough or that you want to be covered more, message me and I will find a way to incorporate more of that into the final sessions for this month. So I really want to hear if anybody has some input on that. So just PM me, let me know your heart's content. You know, this and this hasn't been focused on enough for me. I want to hear you. I want to honor you guys. Okay, guys, so I'm signing out. I'm going to get you the recording before this Sunday, I promise. I'm sending you all lots of love, and just have a wonderful day, and I honor this time that we've shared together. Okay, bye, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabriel.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Quentin.
Everybody.
Bye,
Thank you, Ageya.
Bye, Chris. See you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, okay. Oh.
See you, Chris. Bye bye.